Hello my friends, welcome back to Keto and the Chaos. My name is Tammy, and on this channel I like to share all my tips and tricks on how I lost 205 pounds without surgery and how you can be successful on your own weight loss journey. So if that's what you're looking for, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this one to inspire you to get started. All right everyone, welcome back. This video is going to be a little bit interesting. It's going to detail my week 6 of the reverse diet that I am currently working on. And also the title might seem a little bit clickbaity, but I will go into that in a little while when I talk about what my plans are for the upcoming weeks. First, let's talk about how things went this week. I don't know. When I went into reverse dieting, I think I had kind of a skewed misconception of what it was going to be like. I kind of had imagined and planned out what it was going to entail, how it was going to go, and so far it has not gone at all how I expected. I emotionally have not dealt with it quite as well as I was hoping to, and I've kind of fallen apart a little bit when it comes to a lot of it. I have not quit, and I have not even put one toe out of line still after 6 weeks. I'm still doing exactly what I said I would do, but it's taking a huge toll on me, and I'm not exactly sure what the deal is with that. So I think part of it was the daily vlogging and not getting enough sleep and having a lot of people have a lot of opinions about what I was doing, a lot more people than usual, and me kind of being a little salty and not really wanting to hear that kind of stuff and be able to handle it because I am already struggling trying to just keep it together, let alone listen to other people say, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. And the thing is nobody really knows that I'm doing it wrong because I've never done this, and probably not very many of you have done this. And those of people who do know how to do this don't watch my channel because they have their own channel or they're a coach. Very few people really understand the concept of reverse dieting, and I don't even really understand it. I've watched so many things that my head has spun, and while I feel like I'm doing really well because I've learned a lot of new things, which has been really good, I also am overwhelmed by the amount of new things that kind of contradict each other and don't really seem to make sense. So firstly, before we go into any of the nitty-gritty details about what my plans are and what I'm going to do, let's begin first with a recap of what the reverse diet was intended to do for me personally, not what a reverse diet is meant to do for anyone else. Why did I decide to do it, okay? So I'm going to talk about the why I decided to do it, the how I decided to do it, and what happened from that, and then where do I go from here? Because I'm 6 weeks in, and I'm not where I expected to be. And so I'm not completely abandoning ship, but I'm just doing a little gear switching in what I had originally planned to do. Which, you know what? You have to be flexible in life. You have to be flexible. You have to be consistent. Yet when things don't really work the way you want them to, you need to also be flexible. So, okay, number one, why did I do a reverse diet in the first place? First of all, what is a reverse diet? The basics of it is a reverse diet is slowly raising up your calories after you have been dieting for a while and you have basically sunk out your metabolism, right? That's the basic of what it is. That isn't the case for me, and it isn't the reason that I chose to do it. So the reason I decided to do it was because last year, after finishing my summer cut, I went straight into what I thought was going to be maintenance level calories. My goal was 2,000, and I went that day, right up there. And I decided that I was going to test, I don't know if you guys remember, but I decided I was going to test the high-fat keto theory of doing the 75-25% percentages, which I've never, ever done. So that's what my plan was last year after the cut, was that I was planning on hitting 2,000 calories, that I was going to keep my protein at 120, and that I was going to use fat, not carbohydrate, to get my calories up to that level. That meant a lot of fat, okay? A lot. In order to keep that 70%, 20% balance, I needed a lot more. And I was way less satiated than I thought I would be, and it triggered huge binge. So I started out pretty good, like with 2,000 calories, but I found that as the days progressed, I would add more and more and more fat, and I wasn't really tracking it. So like I had my Crio Brew, and I was putting a bunch of heavy cream in the bottom and not tracking that. And I was adding lots of the spray sugar-free whipped cream on Jell-O. That's how I started, and then I just started eating it straight from the can, the whole dang can, like 600 calories worth in one go. And I couldn't seem to feel satiated at all. And when I'm doing the 1,300 calories, when I'm on a cut, I'm extremely satiated. I don't understand why it is, but I get really comfortable in that zone. Like, it's really easy for me to do that. And I lose weight really quickly, and it isn't really hard, you know, because I'm not doing it for a super long time anymore. At the beginning I did, but anymore, at this point, I really can't do it more than a certain long amount of time. We know that I hit the 10-week wall this time, and I was like, yeah, no, we're done. We are so done. The problem is that when I was done, I haven't really ever gotten done. So I was done technically 9 weeks ago. My body and brain and mental capacity for doing this hit a wall 9 weeks ago. And I'm still here, still doing it, still keeping very close track, still doing a very good job, but mentally losing my mind. So I'm not exactly sure how to get out of this predicament in a way that's going to make everybody on YouTube happy. So let's go to number 2. How did I do it? Okay. I initially went into this, if you've watched this series, you know, I initially went into this intending to raise my calories 50 calories each week. So 50 calories per day each week. So I started at 1,300. Second week, each day was going to be 1,350. Third week, it was going to be 1,400, and so on until I reached my desired and hopeful maintenance of between 1,700 and 2,000 calories. That's where I feel like probably my maintenance is. But I have a really hard time with that number. I have been trying to hit that number since I had that binge problem last year. I tried to pull back my fats. In January, I tried raising my proteins. That helped some, but not enough. I really couldn't get comfortable in that 1,800 calorie range. I just did not feel satiated. I always felt like I was thinking about food, and I don't want to think about food. That's the nice thing about the 1,300 calories. When I'm on a cut, I don't think about food at all, ever. I eat the same thing. I don't have to think about it. I just get up and make it. 2 meals, boom, done. Super easy, right? Right. Yeah, it is. It's really easy. For me, I've done it for a very long time. That part, I feel like I've got the weight loss thing down, right? I can cut me some body fat. Yay! That was a huge win. That is a hard thing to figure out. But now I'm in a whole new zone. I'm in a whole new world. I couldn't get comfortable last year at 1,800 calories. So my plan was, if I, like, you know, you put the frog in the pot, boiling water, and you slowly turn up the thing, that maybe I could convince my body, if I gave it a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, that when I got to the 1,800, it would feel so amazing, and I would be so satiated there, and I would be so happy there, right? That was my plan. So that was how I was planning to do it. Well, if you guys have been watching this series, you know that my weight has steadily gone up. So I actually have the data. Let's say the data. You guys love data, right? Who doesn't love data? I love data. In fact, I like data so much that I went back and I wrote down my weights and my calories for every single day of the reverse diet. Yay! Yes, I did it. And so I'm going to go through and I'm going to tell you my average calorie for the week and the average and what I weighed that week. I guess, does that make sense? So at the end of the keto cut, at the end of the summer, I got a few days or about a week of seeing the 169. It was so pretty. 169. It's a lovely number. I enjoyed it. It made me happy. But I knew that it was not going to be lasting very long because I was going into the reverse diet. And one thing I do know about a reverse diet is that no matter how slowly you go, no matter how careful you are, you will gain some body fat. right? That is a given. I accepted that going in. That would have been true even if I had just jumped to my maintenance calories and tried that again. Same thing would have been true. I will put on some body fat. There's no way to not put on body fat when you aren't in a deficit. There's no way to just stay the same. You can go like this and you can go like this, but you can go like that if you really want. No, I don't want to do that. No yo-yos for me, but the line, right? You don't, the line. That's not how it works. So here we go. Week 1. I added up all of my calories, including the 2-day refeed that I started out with. The refeed was high. I did 1959 calories one day and 2,500 the second day. I was in serious need of some foodage. So I gave in my body the foods that it wanted, okay? And of course, for all of these, I stayed keto. I didn't raise my carbs. I only raised the fats and the proteins. I did raise proteins though. I raised proteins to 150. From 130 to 150. That was my first raise on my macros. Okay, so that being said, I went up to 1372 average even with those 2 huge refeeds, which was 72 up from 1300, and my planned raise was 1350. So technically with the refeed, I exceeded what I had originally intended for the first week by 22 calories. Darn. Don't care. I wasn't even worried about that. I'm still not worried about that. Okay, so for that first week, I gained 2.7 pounds, and on my average weight was 171.7. So that's a 2.7 pound gain. Okay, I totally expected that. In fact, I expected more than that. So week 2, I did the whole week, 1441. That was a 69 increase. So I increased a little more than I originally intended, right? I didn't realize I was doing that. I thought I was being really careful, but because I didn't account for the weekend numbers being higher, well, it's hard to explain. I didn't account for the next week's numbers to be going into the average of the first week's because of the refeed. I counted it from the first day, and I should have counted it from the refeed day, so that's where it got tricky. I should have been more careful with that. So anyway, up 69 calories per day, do an average of 1441 for week 2, and my average weight for the week was 173.2, a 2-pound gain. That I also expected. I was still feeling pretty happy and feeling pretty like this was great at that point. And the second week, I expected the third week that my weight would go back down, or at least it would just kind of settle and be good, right? Right. Okay, so week 3 came along. I went down. I'm not exactly sure how or why, but my average calories for week 3 were 1438. So I think I messed up somehow with week 2, and week 3, I did really perfectly like I first intended. So I was only up 3 for the third week, 3 calories per day. So I had 2 weeks basically at 1440, which is great. Weight-wise, my average weight for the week, 175.1. Now, that was another up 1.4, and I was starting to feel a little concerned. Just a little bit. But I was still confident that my weight would settle out and go back down, because I'm not eating more than I'm burning. Because I'm also adding in exercise, being very active, and trying to be conscientiously more active than I had been, right? So I should technically be burning more calories than I was when I was eating 1,300. And I should technically still be in a deficit. So I'm holding on to those hopes and dreams and not panicking yet. Not panicking. Okay, so week 4, I did a perfect raise, and I raised my calories to an average of 1488, which was exactly 50 up from the week previous. Go me! Finally did it right. Thought I was doing it right before, but apparently not. But whatever. We are up to 1488 by week 4, and that is awesome. I was thinking I'd be up to 1500 by then, so I'm cool with that. 1488, that's good. That's perfect. That's wonderful. How did the scale react? Nicely. My average weight for week 4 was 173.8, a 1.3 pound decrease. And I finally started going, okay, we're settling. We're getting happy. It's gonna be okay, right? And I went into the next week totally feeling good. Okay, this was the end of the first month and I had planned a 2-day refeed. So a refeed, when I do it, is just basically a high calorie day. It's still keto, still under 20 net carbs, raising up the proteins and the fats to get those calorie numbers up. So for the first 2 days of week 5, I hit 2236 and 2289. So you got to keep in mind that those are in the account for this week. Couple that with trying to hit the 1500s and not quite making it, going slightly over each day. My average calories for the week was 1729. So that wasn't really my plan, but it did work out that way. And that was a 241 average increase in 1 week. So that was a bit more of a jump than I wanted to do. Did the scale cooperate or react? Yes. Yes, it did, friends. I don't believe that it's body fat, but the scale did go up, and it was an average of 176.8, which was a 3-pound increase. That sent me into not happy land. So I stayed with the calories that I had thought that I was doing. So like I forgot about the refeed going into the calories, and I probably should have been eating at a lower calorie level that week to make up for the refeed. I didn't really take that into account, and I should have. In my mind, the refeed was like separate from the reverse, and the reverse was the reverse. And so I wasn't really thinking about that in the way of calories over the week. So for the following week, we know, we talked about it last week, that I was planning to stay at 1500 calories and not do a calorie increase, which, now that I'm looking at the data, means I went back down. I didn't realize that by doing that, I did the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do in reverse, and I went back to a cut, well, a further down cut. That was also a mistake. So, live and learn. I have never done this before. I really thought I was doing it no toe out of line. Thought I was being so careful. My chronometer looked so perfect. Okay, so for the week 6, this past week, so the week I just finished today, yesterday technically, the average calories for the week was 1514, which was a 218 calorie drop. So when you're doing a reverse, you're not supposed to go backward. I didn't want to go backward, but I didn't take into account the averages, and that was a mistake. So how did the scale react this week? Well, guys, now's the moment where I'm going to show you all the weigh-ins. Do you tell I love this? I don't love this, but let's see it anyway. So as you can see, current weight as of today, 177.4. The average weight for the week, when you add them all up, is 176.9, which is only a 0.1 increase from last week. So there's that. At least I stayed the same. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering what the inches look like, and I actually went back to that first week, or the last week of the cut, and compared it to the inches from today. And there was no increase or decrease. They are all the same. And the only one I'm really worrying if it increases or decreases is my waist and my hips, okay? So if my waist and my hips are staying the same, then I'm feeling pretty confident that what I am doing is okay and it's working. Physically, it's working. A lot of people keep telling me, you need to embrace 1,500 calories because that's what you're going to have to eat for the rest of your life. I cannot do that. So, mentally, I am falling apart. I am a mess. This week has been so incredibly difficult. As you will see when my video comes out, my food video comes out, in order to cope with the mental issues that I was having surrounding the fact that I needed to have more calories and I wanted to have more calories and I could not have more calories, which might have something to do with the fact that I went backwards. Whoops. I was really creative with my foods this week. I was super creative. I was creative. Because I thought if I just make the food taste different, then maybe I won't notice that there's none of it. Nope. I still noticed. Still not happy. Still so tired. Okay, so that is the biggest issue right there. I am exhausted. How is a person supposed to go out and exercise and try to build muscle when they are so exhausted? When I'm coaching people and people tell me they're tired on keto, what do I tell them to do? Electrolytes, electrolytes, electrolytes. I know you're not taking your sodium. Don't you dare tell me that. You guys know. You have seen me do it. I am at my max for sodium. I'm not going to take more than 8 tablespoons of Solé a day. That is already a killer sodium number, and I don't think taking more of it is going to help. Okay, so there's that. My potassium level, I'm already taking 1,900 milligrams of potassium a day in a supplement in addition to my food, and I'm hitting about 3,300 to 3,500 milligrams of potassium a day. Also, that's the roof of my limit. I'm already taking 675 milligrams of magnesium glycinate a day. Roof. I'm not having other symptoms of keto flu. I'm not having any problems with my mental capacity like I usually do when I drop sodium out. When sodium dumps out, like when I'm having a whoosh, which I have not had, much to my chagrin. I am retaining water. We all know that. It's fine. Could be for a million reasons. Everyone says it's the bars, whatever. I don't care if it's the bars, it's the bars. I don't care about the water weight itself, knowing that's what it is. I care about the continuation of the trend upward and my mental capacity to handle this anymore. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm even making any sense. I'm not having muscle cramps and I'm not having any of the severe keto flu symptoms that I would be having if my stuff was really, really low. It's not. So what do? I drink more caffeine. You guys know I drink 2 bangs a day. I can't afford that. It's a lot of money. That's like $4 a day for soda. And I drink a 2 liter of Coke on top of that. And I'm still tired. All the time. I can only get about 6 or 7 hours of sleep. And it doesn't seem to matter what time I go to bed. I still wake up too early and I can't fall back asleep. I just don't feel right. And then this week, to top off everything else, I had breakthrough bleeding in the middle of my cycle. That's a signal that my hormones are not in whack. So, I have been talking to some really awesome, super smart people who firmly believe in keto for weight loss, but also do not firmly believe in keto forever. You know that I'm a firm believer in keto forever. Dr. Finney is a proof that keto forever is possible. Dr. Finney is also a boy, and I don't know if that has something to do with it, but I am struggling, and I am on the struggle bus, and if I want to be able to be more active and do all these things I like when I go to the dance classes, like, yeah, I do them, but like leading up to it, I literally feel like I'm going to cry because I'm so tired. I don't want to go. I make myself go anyway, but I don't enjoy it as much as I could because I'm so freaking tired. Now, I know that you guys all are going to have like a kabillion solutions and you're going to post for me in the comments and you're going to tell me I'm doing everything wrong again and whatever. And I try not to be ultra defensive and salty with you, though I cannot promise anything because I've had a rough week. But the solution that I am going to try is the solution you probably don't want to hear. And that is the point of this video. I'm going to kick myself out of ketosis. Yes, you heard me correctly. I'm going to purposely kick myself out of ketosis. Heaven help me. If these last 6 weeks have proven anything, they have proven, number one, that I am capable of being a reasonably controlled person with my food. I am capable of fighting mental fatigue, physical fatigue, emotional stressors, major life stress without indulging in a binge. So, I feel like I have proven that I am capable of consuming a carbohydrate without completely killing myself. Now, I know what you're thinking. Carbs are bad. Do not do it. Stop now. It's going to send you in a 3-month binge of gummy bears. You know those thoughts are all right here. I'm petrified to do it. I said I'd never do it. And here I'm gonna do it. How long am I gonna do it? I don't know. That all depends on what happens. These guys are telling me that if I just raise my carbs up to 50 to 75, that I will feel like the Energizer Bunny. That makes me happy. The carbs? No, not the eating the carbs. That makes me go, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't even know how to do it. I don't even know what to eat. I don't even have any carbs. Like in my house. So I have my plans of how I'm going to do it. I am going to be meticulously tracking it. Today and tomorrow, I will be eating about 1675 calories, which will bring the average for the following week, since that's apparently what I'm doing, and I didn't even realize it till I was doing this, up 50. So my plan is for today and tomorrow, I will be doing the 1675, and then the following days, I will be doing 1520, which will put me at an average of, I wrote it down, an average of 1564 calories. So my protein probably will stay the same or similar or maybe go up. I don't know. It depends. My fats will not be going up as much as my carbs. So I will be focusing on my proteins and my carbs first and then adjusting the fats to get the calories to match. So it's going to be tricky because I have no clue how many carbs are in a dang thing. And I will be using whole food carbs. I will not be having like a baggie of fruit snacks, as much as I would really love to do that. I know that that's the wrong thing to do. Also, I will always be consuming my carbohydrate with heavy protein to help mitigate the blood sugar rush so that I don't have the extreme up and down. So I've been told by these guys that have done this that you will know when you screw it up because you will feel like crap, literal crap. If you're feeling good and energized, you're doing it okay. Now, I know for a fact the scale's going to go up because the glycogen has to be stored in the muscle. I at least know enough about science to know that. So probably I'm going to see the 180s this week, and I'm trying so hard not to cry over that. But I did not go into this reverse diet to freak out and back up to the 1,300 calories and live there for the rest of my life. That is not what I want. I don't want that. I want this to be sustainable. I need to figure this out. If that means I'm going to take some risks and maybe gain some weight and have to take it back off later, so be it. That happened last year anyway, and I didn't even go out of ketosis. Well, at least not intentionally, but I didn't even go off keto the entire year, still gained 20 pounds. Wasn't even eating an irrational amount of calories for most people, still gained 20 pounds. So I can't go into anything without thinking I'm going to gain something. And then later on, after I feel stable and I feel like I know what I'm doing and I'm ready and I'm uncomfortable again, then I will go back into doing another cut, but I may not do it as drastic as I did before. That's the hope. The hope is if I can get to a place where I'm maintaining a reasonable weight at a reasonable calorie level, and then I won't have to bump it down so far in order to lose. That's the hope. Here's hoping. I'm learning so much. I thought I knew so much, and now my eyes are open to how much I really don't know. I really used to think that keto was the magic. I really now know it was just calories. Keto and intermittent fasting both help to lower calories. I lowered calories by a disgusting amount in order to lose this weight. But I lost it and I'm happy and that's great. But I do not want to eat 1,300 calories for the rest of my life. That's ridiculous. I don't want to eat 1,500 calories for the rest of my life. I need to be in a comfortable range somewhere between 1,700 and 2,200 calories like a supposed normal person should be able to do. And I also need energy. And if that means I'm going to have 50 grams of carbs, I know Dr. Finney eats that many carbs. So I don't know why this is so scary. I think it's because I think I won't have control and I'll lose my mind and I'll want to eat all the carbs. That could happen. If it does, I will tell you. I promise. I'm going to be completely upfront. I will tell you everything that happens. I will show you everything that I eat. If I feel like it's triggering a binge, I'm going to let you guys know. So my plan is to do it for the next 2 weeks and see what happens. If I don't find any great increase in energy, if I don't find any great increase in my NAET, which is like my physical movement of like burning more calories just sitting here, and I feel a little less like I'm gonna die every 5 seconds all day long and feel like I can't do life, then I will go back to just doing keto, because if it's not gonna help that, there's no point. If it works, then maybe this is my new normal. I don't know what I will do after that. I'm gonna let you know though. And this video is killer long, and I did not mean for it to be so long. I'm gonna stick the exercise clips and the chicken clips at the end of this video. So if you wanna watch it, you can. I'm not gonna put it in the talking part. Normally I would break up the talking parts with those things. I think that I'm just gonna stick them at the end for those of you who really wanna see me doing all the exercise I did this week and the chickens, because you love them. And I am gonna show you guys all the gifts that I got from my Amazon registry this week that you guys were sweet and kind enough to send me. I'm so grateful for everything, and it's been so much fun. But I'm going to remind you before we head out, don't forget to check out all the awesome information in the About section below. And check out our other channel, Hide and Seek, because that's where I do all my vlogging. And if you really loved the vlogging, you'll find that there. Okay, bye. We'll talk to you all again soon.